Hello and welcome to your in-depth weekly horoscope for week commencing the 29th of May for the Sun or the Ascendant. I'm going to give you an overview which we can all relate to collectively, but please stay with me. I will explore in much greater detail all the 12 zodiac signs from Aries through to Pisces. If you're new here, it's great to have you with us. This is very much a community. Do share any thoughts you have. I try to interact with each one, but please also subscribe by clicking or tapping on the bell notification symbol. As this week begins, so the Sun is in a very enthusiastic and energizing link with Mars. The Sun's in Gemini, which is fleet-footed, loves lots of quick, short, but bright conversations and has an appetite for everyday knowledge and information. Mars in the proud Leo is a really wonderful location for Mars. It's pushing us to manifest our talents wherever we can. It's just that despite their vibrant link, Saturn is being somewhat of a spoilsport, located in house 12, which can be to do with the people who are not necessarily on our side, or the more psychological or subconscious strands of our situation. Saturn is in a right angle with the Sun, which can slow things down, but it's also in a trine angle with Mars. And if we don't really target our efforts in a very focused way, we could end up feeling a bit frustrated at the start of this week. But Wednesday, fortunately, sees Mercury emerge from its post-retrograde shadow. If we go back to the 4th of April, when Mercury moved into Taurus, by the 7th, it started to slow down and go into its pre-retrograde shadow. The retrograde itself began on the 21st of April and ended on the 15th of May. But if anything to do with finance has felt sluggish, has slowed down for you, or you've been waiting for some information or news, the chances are you're going to get that confirmation in the second half of this week as Mercury comes out of shadow, which is like a mini retrograde, but also aligns with the bright energies of Uranus, which is very much about truths. So Uranus in Taurus is joined by Mercury, and some information can come into the open which provides some real illumination, particularly if you have been feeling that things just aren't shifting. Now Venus is the ruler of the sign of Taurus and therefore intrinsically linked to everyday finance, but is currently in the feeling sign of Cancer, and it forges a quite enchanting link with Neptune in the second half of this week. If you're lucky enough to be involved in a friendship, association, or personal relationship, which really is lovely, you can celebrate this with that other person in the latter part of this week. But Venus is also in a direct opposition with Pluto, and that can bring a much more political vibe to bear. But overall, the two influences involving Venus ask us to really count our blessings in terms of our associations, but also appreciate what our core values are, which provide our sense of security, with Venus being in the sign of security, Cancer. But as the week draws to a close, we do have the full moon, the Sagittarius strawberry full moon. So this can be a crop of strawberries, if we like, over the next couple of weeks, but it can also see some strident conversations. The sign of Sagittarius loves openness and can be quite frank, but it's also about higher truths, whereas the Sun in Gemini is about those everyday quick moving chats that are not necessarily always so deep and thought through. So there could be some kind of discussion that manifests itself at the end of this week. If it's about money, if it's about our core values, our self-worth, or a relationship, it really wouldn't be a surprise. But something may need to come into the open which provides illumination, but it could be a little bit uncomfortable hearing what someone has to say. Now, if you would like to learn much more deeply how astrology can have such a profound impact on your life, if you give me 3 pieces of personal birth data, of time, date and place of birth, I can produce for you your life roadmap report. This will give you an intimate understanding of the patterns that have played out in your existence so far. In my special offer of 30% off, you can also get your 12-month forecast, totally unique to you, these reports, and that will give you Syrian insights. If you don't know your time, my new solar reports based on the sun can also be invaluable to you. Please see the links below for more. So Taurus, your week commencing the 29th of May forecast has a paradox threaded through it. On one hand, Neptune in your sector of friendship, highest values, your connection to others and your future plans forges a gorgeous link to your ruler Venus in the second half of this week, and that could see some quite beautiful conversations. But also Saturn in this sector forges a very harsh and limiting influence with the Sun and also Mars in the first half of the week. And that could flag up who doesn't share your ideals, who's not on the same page as you. So when it comes to friendships, alliances, social interaction, your longer term future, you're going to really see quite starkly perhaps the best of your situation, but also some of the more challenging parts of it too. The great news, however, is that with Mercury emerging from its post-retrograde shadow on Wednesday in your sign, and it's been there since the middle of May, if clarity has seemed a bit elusive or things just haven't been moving at the pace you would really like, as Mercury aligns with Uranus in your sign towards the end of this week, things can start to click into place and the speed of change really start to accelerate in quite an exciting way. However, Venus, your ruler, is also challenged by Pluto in the latter part of this week. If someone's offering you a financial opportunity or seems very hard to resist in terms of a romantic attraction, it doesn't mean to say there is a catch, but just be mindful of what any catches could be, and that means also being conscious of your own motives as much as anyone that you're drawn to be involved with. But the full moon, as this week draws to a close, is asking you to be more conscious of your longer term financial planning because it's in house 8, which is around those areas and also where we're most invested with others. The money we share can be to do with things like insurances and banking and mortgages and so on, but that needs to coexist with your everyday ins and outs, which is where the sun is in the sign of Gemini. So I feel that that particular full moon may see a little bit like the Two of Coins in the tarot, needing to just work out where to put your resources and be very mindful of what resources you have and how you apply them.